guys, welcome to a new speed build. So this was supposed to be a Halloween build and it was supposed to be up on Halloween, but I think I mentioned it a long time ago with my last build. I'm a really slow builder, so it took me I don't know 4 to 5 days to build this, and then I had to edit the footage, and it took me 2 days to edit it because I had to cut a lot of it out, and I hope you don't mind that you won't see all of the build, but it was really a struggle because I'm so undecisive or indecisive when it comes to choosing color swatches, and that was really a struggle. But in the end, I'm really pretty excited, and I'm quite happy with it and how it turned out. So I searched for floor plans and pictures of Victorian houses in the internet, because I was actually building another house, and then because it was a few days before Halloween and because I was just watching Sabrina on Netflix, I got into a spooky vibe and the house got a lot darker, and so I decided, well, you could actually build a house for Halloween, so you could just decorate a little spooky or a little darker, a little more Victorian, because I love the Victorian era. I just finished my master thesis, as I mentioned a few times before, and it was actually about the Victorian era, so I'm still in the vibe, I think, or in the mood for that, so I just wanted to build something like that, and I built it in Forgotten Hollow, and it's on a 30 by 30, I think, and we have four bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Unfortunately, there is no bathroom on the first floor, or on the ground floor. Um, well, as I said, I built it after a floor plan, and there was no bathroom. I don't know how they did that. Well, there were a few small rooms, but they were so small, and yeah. And also the right part of the building um, was supposed to be a garage, a garage. Um, well, but there were no garages, so they built it after a few centuries, I think. But I didn't know what to do with it. In the end, I just put some random stuff in it, and then I went with it. So I also have a whole story for this house. I thought about it while I built this, and because I love stories and I love creating characters, and yeah, I just imagined that there would live a family in this house. Well, at first there was a teenage girl with her father living in this house, and then her father died, unfortunately, in an accident, and then her uncle decided that they would take care of her, and they would move into this house, also because they just had a small flat for all of them, and they would just move into this house and take care of their niece. So there's nothing spooky about the family as a whole, I would say, but since they moved into this house, they got a lot of weird habits and quirks and obsessions that I'm going to tell you about when we come to their individual rooms. So the girl whose father died was living there for her life, for her whole life, and the whole family that was moving in here, so her uncle and her aunt and her cousins and her grandma. Is it her grandma then? It's the mother of the mother. Well, it's the mother of the wife of her uncle. Um, They think that she's a weird person, but we come to this later. So we're just building the dining, no, the breakfast area, and you will see in this building the lighting is really, really dark, but that was that was really on purpose because I wanted this house to be really um, spooky and creepy and dark, but at the same time livable. So I don't know if you like that. Um, if you download this house, you can actually change the lighting, as you probably know, and put a few more lamps in there. But I don't think we have a lot of ceiling lights. I think they're just more standing lamps and candelabras, and yeah, I think that's it. And this house is also somehow, well, it turned out really green in the end because I just love the green of this wallpaper that came with with a vampire pack. I think it is a really gorgeous color, and the curtains match it so well, and I really like it. And what else? So we are doing the living room at the second, so it's an open space. We have a really open, long kitchen. I don't know why it was so long in the floor plan, but I just, um, yeah, I wanted to go with that, and then I just imagined something and put random stuff in there, and yeah, I wanted it to be old and creepy, but at the same time, I wanted that you would actually be able to live in there, so that's why we also have a laundry stuff and the washer and dryer in there, so you can actually live with your modern day family in this house. And I imagine the family to um, have moved in there, and all the furniture was already in the house. So, as I mentioned, the girl was living there with her father, and they inherited the house from her mother, probably, or from her family. So she's living there now with her uncle and his family. And yeah, this is the living room. I had to struggle a little bit with it because at first I wanted to make a second living room, a bigger one, which is now a study, because I thought that would suit the personality or the house better. So they just have this small living room, but I think it's really cute, and I just love to clutter it up with random stuff. And I also put a lot of random and strange stuff in this house. You will see it when we come to it. I don't know, this stack, for example, I don't know what we are supposed to do with that. It's just strange. And who could we start with? Perhaps with the father of the house. So he is actually the real uncle of the girl, and it was his brother who died, and he also thought that he was behaving weird in the last time, and I mentioned the family moved in there in here then, and they all developed some weird quirks and obsessions. So you will notice that there is some dog stuff in this house, but the family doesn't have a dog. And also the wife and the children probably think, okay, our father is a weird person, but he keeps talking to a dog that isn't there, and he just, well, he goes with him for a walk, and he fills the pet bowl, and there's stuff, dog stuff, all around the house, but they never see a dog, so they just think he behaves a little weird. And but they also, the other family members say that they are behaving weird and have developed some weird behaviors, so they wouldn't say it too loud, I think. um, okay, that was the father. I think that was everything I imagined for him. He's not quite that interesting, I think. This is going to be the study. I had a lot of struggle with this room as well as with the dining room that we're going to see in a few moments as well. So this is just a study room, and you see a lot of weird stuff in this house, as I mentioned. For example, there is laundry detergent and some medicine stuff on the shelf, and you really don't know what they did with that. I think that's also from the family of the girl that lived here her whole life, that they left some weird stuff in this house. And nobody knows what they should do with that or what that means. So, well, this is the study room, and it took me a lot of time to figure out how I wanted it to look, and I wanted to put the fish in there, the hanging fish or the mounted fish on the wall, but the color didn't really suit the wall, and then I wanted it to make it lighter, and then it just didn't look right, so I decided to move the fish in another room and yeah, just go with the style I had imagined for this room. And you see there is a dog bed on the floor, and also these scratches on the wall, and the picture with the man and the dog on the wall, which is quite important, I think. So it could be that there is living a ghost dog in this house and nobody sees it besides the father. But that is up to your imagination, I think. So for the dining room, I really wanted to use these chairs, and especially in that purple color, but it was so bright and nothing seemed to fit. So I just in the end decided to turn them gray, and yeah, I think I also prefer muted colors over the bright colors that some of the objects have. Also, some of the objects from the vampire pack, which is quite strange, I think. I don't like these bright colors. I never use them, and I really try to use colors and items that I don't use that often, because I think that makes it a lot more exciting. And then I noticed we had this small room and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just made, well, I don't know what to call it. Perhaps it is just a chamber where you can starve your Sims in, or it's just perhaps when they behave bad, they put their children in there. I don't know. You can think about that what you want. I just wanted to give you the possibility if you decided to play with this house. I actually would love to play in this house and to create the family I imagined for it, perhaps. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna do that, but it would be quite interesting because I don't really have a picture in mind. I just have their character traits and what I told you and what I'm going to tell you about them. So that is quite interesting. Then we have the mother, of course. She is also a little strange. She likes to go fishing a lot, and she's the one who mounted the fish and wanted to put them into their house. So there are all sorts of weird collectors and people, but the parents aren't the interesting guys. This room belongs to the eldest daughter, so well, she is quite how can I describe it? So I wanted her to be a little bit girly, and she also has some weird hobbies. For example, she likes to collect mirrors, and there are a lot of mirrors in her room and in her bathroom, and also in the hallway that leads to the room of her parents. She decided to put them there, and that is because she oftentimes feels so alone, and she has the feeling when she places mirrors everywhere, she doesn't feel quite alone. So she feels watched in some way, and it gives her a little creepy feeling, but also she really likes that feeling in a weird way. And also, what you perhaps wouldn't imagine, she likes archaeology, so she collects archaeological stuff. And she also has an oh my god, that word, archaeology table in her bedroom. Um, what else can I tell you about her? She is the eldest daughter. She's older than her brother that is going to come as well in a second. And I wanted the room to look like there is a teenage girl living in there, but not overly decorated because, as I mentioned, they moved in there and the furniture was there before and they just took it, and I imagined them to be quite poor before they moved in here, so they're glad that the house was already furnished and that their niece or cousin allowed them to live there with her. But on the other hand, she didn't really have a choice because she was the only descendant of that family from her mother's side. So, yeah. So that's the archaeology table, and I decided to put some posters on the wall as well and put some more mirrors in there. I think she's really interested in her, in how she looks, and she also has 2 wardrobes. So when you first look at the children or the family members, they seem quite normal and stereotypical. So she's the perfect girly girl and beauty, and what? She has weird hobbies, and yeah. I think the next room we're going to do is the bathroom, and we're also going to put a lot of stuff in there that is going to hint to her characters. So there are also a lot of mirrors in there. I wouldn't really like to live in a house with so many mirrors. I somehow find mirrors really creepy, and I don't like it when it's dark to look in them. I don't know, perhaps it's because when I was little, my classmates told a story about someone who would turn up in a mirror when you say a certain word and 3 times and something like that. So I wouldn't recommend to do it. I'm a little bit, well, I'm not really superstitious, but somehow I am. I have to admit. So I don't like things like that. It just creeps me out, and I really wouldn't recommend to do it. Unless you are really, I don't know. Mirrors are just creepy, I think. So, what else can I tell you about this family? I think the most interesting one is the niece that is going to live in the attic. But I'm not going to tell you a lot about her because I want to tell you when we come to her room. And I wanted to make the furniture really old, but also with some modern elements. I know they do actually have electricity, and also in the Victorian era they started to have electricity in houses. But I really like that subtle light that that comes with the candles, and I also changed the light or the intensity and the yellowness of the light a little bit. So I switched to live mode and then I just changed it a few times. You won't see that in the video because I cut it out. I cut a lot of the stuff out and a lot of my indecisiveness, so you don't have to watch my stupid color changes. And well, it was quite annoying to watch for me, so you don't have to watch that. And I'm really sick of the curtains we have and of the rugs. I don't think there are enough to satisfy me in a weird way. Um, you can't just use every item for everything. So if you want to build, for example, that Victorian house, there are just a few things or items that would fit that style. So this is a little difficult, I think. And you have to use the same stuff over and over. So yeah. I also put a lot of archaeology items or archaeological oh my god, I won't say that word. Items in the rooms, just some stuff that she examined, and yeah, and a lot of candles. She likes candles, and as I mentioned, she is a little girly, but at the same time a little weird. And that just developed as they moved into this house. So before that, they were quite that standard family, you could say. Kind of a cliche family because they have that stereotypical interests. And yeah, this is the parents' room. I think this is also quite nice, and they actually can use the bed when it's standing like this. I tested it out, so no worries there. And they have their own bathroom. It's a little bit, well, I think the daughter has the biggest bathroom, just because, as I mentioned, she is quite that girly girl, and she likes to dress herself up. And she also is the family's darling, so she is the favorite child of theirs. So that's why she got the biggest room and the biggest bathroom. And this is the parents' room. They also don't have a lot of light in there, but I did that deliberately because I really like that. I'm actually an artist, so I like to play with light and atmosphere. And yeah, it's really nice to see when you have that cozy light in The Sims 4. So this is going to be the room of the brother. He is an athletic person. He likes to do sports and he's really good in that. But from time to time he has to clean up his baseball bat a lot. I wouldn't call him aggressive, but sometimes he just has its moods. So he really is a strong guy, and he has to keep control of his mood swings. And yeah, that's also why he hides some of the stuff under his bed, because he didn't clean it up since the last time he hit something with it. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting. And he doesn't have a wardrobe, so he just has to use the one of his sister or his grandma or something like that. And he also likes to read a lot of books, so he's a bookworm. And he's a little obsessed with books, so that's why he has two bookshelves in his room, and a lot of books around his bed. So this is the room of the grandma that lives with them. She likes flowers a lot, and she also likes birds. So she collects pictures of birds and she collects flowers, and she also collects some feathers of birds. And as you can see in a while, she also has a little secret that she keeps from her family under the sofa. So you will see that in a while, but until then, we just decorate the room a little bit and put all the stuff in there that we need. That door to the left is leading to the porch or to the balcony that she shares with the son. And there is the bag with the money under the sofa, so she has some secrets, and you don't really know what she keeps in the boxes under the sofa. And yeah, why does she collect feathers? That is a little weird, I think. And also the flower thing, I think it would be quite annoying. And also she keeps that archaeological bird thing in her room, and the bird food in there. So this is the hallway I mentioned before. So the girl of the family decorated it with a lot of mirrors, and this is going to be the room of the niece. So she's a little weird. She was like that her whole life, as far as they can remember. She doesn't talk that much. For a fact, she doesn't talk at all, and she rarely comes down from the attic to visit her family or to eat with them. Most of the time she stays in her attic room, and she doesn't talk. And also she wears these weird ancient clothes and dresses from long centuries ago, and they really don't know what to do with her. But she was like this her whole life, so they decided to go with that. I actually believe that she is some kind of a witch or a reincarnation of a family member that lived in this house a few centuries ago, but you never know. So she keeps a lot of things in this room, a lot of old letters, and also some items that you wouldn't really expect from a girl like that. She has a lot of medical instruments under the bed, and she also has a weather machine and some weird stuff. But no one ever sees that because no one dares to visit her, or no one dares to come up into the attic. Yeah, and actually that was all, guys. We will go into the screenshots in just a few moments. Well, this is... Okay, I lied to you. This is the last room. This is the weird garage that I just discovered I had to furnish at the end of the recording. I just threw some stuff in there, some random stuff, because I didn't know what to do with that. But we're going to the screenshots now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you soon then. Bye, guys.